It was very fun to indulge in all that Pattaya has to offer. It didn't take long before I really felt I was the one being used. And I wasn't sure where to start looking, but I found this website, believe it or not. I met my wife on a dating website.
So you mentioned in the email that you sent to me that you experienced jealousy from other Farangs. Can you tell us that story?
Well, hello there, Internet. It's Pete here from Thairish Times. What's the story? I hope you're keeping well. We're back to the old school Thairish Times content with this interview. We're going to meet a gentleman. His name is Thai. Yes, believe it or not, his name is Thai, spelt T-Y. And Thai's going to tell us his whole life story. He spent 16 years in Thailand. He's going to tell us the story of how he moved from America to Thailand, met his Thai wife, and then started a very unusual business for an American to start in Thailand. You could definitely see someone from Britain or someone from Australia doing this type of business, but like I said, unusual for an American. He's going to tell us his whole life story in this interview and how he made Thailand work for him. So without further ado, let's get straight into it, meet him and hear his story. Cheers.
All right. So Thai, thanks very much for coming on the show here. And we're going to have a great story from you today. So let's go back to the very start. Tell everybody where you're from and then how you ended up moving to Thailand and spending 16 years there so far.
All right. Well, I'm originally from Alabama. We have a little joke called LA, and that's Lower Alabama. If you saw Forrest Gump when he's on that shrimp boat in Bayou La Battery, that's where I'm from Bayou La Battery. But that's not actually my real accent, because after high school, at 18, seriously, as soon as I graduated from high school, I went in the Navy. That was one of the life-changing decisions. I got on a couple of ships through the time. I was in there for 10 years, 3 different ships, 2 aircraft carriers, and traveled around the Mediterranean a lot, got to see Europe, and really sparked my desire to travel. The story kind of starts really early, how I got to Thailand, because even as a very young boy, before I really realized I like girls, before I even, ooh, girls. If I saw an Asian woman on TV, my life just stopped and I would just stare. Wow, it's just amazing. And at the time, I didn't realize what it was. But yeah, I realized I'm just attracted to Asian women, and call it what you like, whatever. But yeah, just been more attracted to that. My first wife was an American girl, but Filipino descent. My youth, I was pretty stupid and naive, but I messed that up, and I own it. I screwed that up. And then shortly after we got divorced, 9/11 happened. And then I went to work in Afghanistan. The government called me up and said, "You want to come work in Afghanistan? Let me get as far away from America as possible." So I went, and you get to work for 4 months, get a holiday for 4 months. I mean, two weeks. So I traveled around Europe, went to Amsterdam and Hamburg, Germany, and all over Paris. My friends are going, "Hey, you need to go to Thailand." And I'm like, "What? Okay, what's there?" And they went, "Girls." And I was like, "Well, that's nice, but what am I going to do for the other 23 hours and 45 minutes of the day?" So when someone finally said, "Well, there's jet skiing, elephant trekking, there's all kinds of tours you can do down in Pattaya," I was like, "Now I'm interested." Okay. So I ended up going with a friend, and really was like, wow, I probably should have gone to like China or Japan first, because after going to Thailand, I was like, yeah, this fits me, the food, the culture, the people, and like they said, the women are quite nice to know. And going down to Pattaya, recently singled, recently divorced man, still in my 30s. It was very fun to indulge in all that Pattaya has to offer, but it didn't take long before I really felt I was the one being used. Since I didn't speak the language, I would have the girls stay with me long time, and pay for food, travel, hotels, gifts, things like that. so the amount of money I was shelling out was quite surprising. And I thought, who's the one getting taken advantage of here? Really. So I got quite bored with the whole patio thing and decided to try and find a good girl, And I wasn't sure where to start looking, but I found this website, believe it or not. I met my wife on a dating website. It was quite eerie at first because where I was at, we had the internet. I would open up the computer, and as soon as I got online, bling, hello, good morning. I'm like, she's stalking me? But she remembered the times that I got on, and on her side, at this time, you had to buy internet packages, and the packages had X number of hours. And so it was quite expensive for her.
What year are we talking here?
2004-ish, 2004. Yeah. 2000, late 2003, early 2004. And in her hometown of what they call Nong Bua Lampu, which is near Udon Thani, you would buy an internet package for X number of baht. You would get X number of hours. And she said it was quite expensive. So she was an intelligent woman, and she just remembered the hours that I got online. So, but on my side, I'm just like, as soon as I turned on my computer, bing, hello. I'm like, that's kind of creepy, She's right. As soon as I turn on my computer, there she is. But anyway, I met her. And I remember at first, I was like, look, I'll just pay for your ticket from Udon Thani down to Bangkok, and we'll go. We plan to go on a trip to Koh Chang, not far from Trat. And she's like, no, you got to come up and meet the parents first. I'm like, now I got to spend money to buy a ticket to go from Bangkok to Udon to meet your family.
Is this the first time you ever met her? She wanted you to meet the parents the first time?
Yes. And I started thinking about it. I said, okay, yeah, I get it. Parents got to be cool with me taking their daughter, let's go, And so I was like, all right. So I flew up to Udon. We drove over to where she lives in Nong Bua, met the parents, and then we went down to Koh Chang and had a wonderful first time meeting, and flew her back to Nong Bua Lampu. I went back to work in Afghanistan. We started dating like that. And then I decided to get married. That was right about 2007-ish, 2007, April 2007. Yeah. And so we got married, but we had been chatting and talking about our future and what do we want it to be in America or in Thailand? Do we want kids? Do we not want kids? And yeah, we were gelling. We were going in the same direction, and I like that. I wanted to live in Thailand. She did not want to go to America, and her parents, and they have a business, and so she didn't want to leave. So I was like, this is great. Once we got married, we ended up having 2 daughters, and now one is 13 and one is 12. Then Thailand had that protest. I don't know if you remember or heard about that red shirt protest down in Bangkok. Shut down, restart Bangkok, whatever. And the economy started to kind of go down. And things got quite tight for us.
At this stage, had you moved over to Thailand?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry, yes.
And where were you living?
Nong Bua Lampu, with her and her family. And
this would have been about 2010, is it?
2007. Okay. Right after we got married, April. In October, I moved. I quit the job in Afghanistan. I had pretty decent little savings, and I should have prioritized it. I opened up a little coffee shop, because I'm just not the flower garden center type of guy, And I was like, yeah, okay. The war situation, Afghanistan, although I wasn't combat or anything like that, I was just support. When you're always in a heightened sense of awareness, leaving Afghanistan to coming to Thailand, so now relax. I still needed to kind of unwind, and I didn't realize it at the time, but I did need some time to kind of settle back into civilian life. And that coffee shop was perfect. I wasn't making any money, but people would come to my coffee shop and I'd make them a fresh cup of coffee, and just sit and chat with them and stuff like that. And eventually, um, the coffee machine broke down, and I sent it down to Bangkok. I was like, well, I called Bangkok and said, can I send it to you to repair it? They said, yeah, but we'll keep about 2 weeks. And I said, well, do you have a replacement that I could use for the 2 weeks? No. I was like, so my shop's just closed down. You can use 3-in-1. I said, yeah. The guys are going to come and buy 3-in-1 coffee from me. I was like, yeah, I don't think so. So at that point, I had decided to go in a different direction, because I had a friend that was coming by that kept bugging me, because I bought a little freezer and I was putting in foods like bacon and pies, meat pies and things like that I was buying from Pattaya. And he kept saying, you should make your own. It's so easy. I could show you how to make it. And I'm like, yeah, I can't see myself making some pies, rolling the dough, and a customer comes and wants coffee. Okay, I'll just leave that to go make a cup of coffee. Yeah. But once the coffee thing kind of fell through, I was like, why don't you show me how to make those pies? Said, oh, I'm busy. You could go down, you could get online. I was like, okay, he was going to show me, but now all of a sudden when I take him up on it, he can't show me. But yeah, I got online and I started looking up how to do it, and I ended up started making pies.
It's kind of strange for an American to make pies. I mean, pies it's a very British thing. Are we talking like steak and kidney pie? Yeah.
Exactly. We're talking the whole 9 yards. I started with steak and potato, steak and kidney, steak and onion, the basic pies. And I got lucky. There was a business in Udon Thani that had just got rid of their pie. I don't know what the whole situation with their pie supplier, and they were in need. And I came to him and was like, hey, try my pie. And he was like, if you can do this like this, then I'll start buying from you. And he was a regular customer, which really was a big boost for us. He didn't buy a whole lot each month, but he did buy quite a bit for me, just doing it out of my kitchen.
Would your market have been mostly expats in Udon Thani, or are we talking Thai people?
No Thai people, none at that time. We was basically selling it out of a large freezer in the flower shop, in the office in the flower shop, and then delivering to people in Udon Thani, 1 or 2 shops. That one shop bought large order quite regularly, but a couple of bars would buy here and there, and some people at the bar would buy personally from me. And since I'm going to Udon, I was like, yeah, no problem. And then I had been getting bugged by the teachers locally, because apparently my accent was quite soft and easy to understand. They kept bugging me to come and teach. I'm like, I'm busy with the pies. Well, actually, I wasn't that busy, but I didn't really want to teach. But they said, all right, if you just come for like 2 hours a week, we'll pay you on Friday, get an air-conditioned room, a cup of coffee or whatever. It's not serious. There's nothing, So I was like, okay, all right, cool. And then at that point, I realized shortly afterwards, if I got my TEFL certificate, I could really get a decent job doing this. I could help my wife on the weekends and in the evenings doing the pies, because we weren't that big. So I was like, okay. And so I went down to Khon Kaen, to the TEFL course there, and got my TEFL certificate. And shortly after that, they offered me a job. Right after graduation, they offered me a job in Khon Kaen. And that was really the change, because Nong Bua Lampu is nice. I kind of joke. It's Nong Bua Lampu, which Bua means boring. Because there's really not much there in Nong Bua Lampu. It's a very sleepy little town. Just at the time, about 1 or 2 little bars, but I don't really go to the bars anyway.
I'm just going to interrupt our video for just a moment, folks. Just hear me out for a second. If you've been following the channel, you'll know that I met my wife Noon online. And also, as Ty mentioned in this interview, he met his wife online as well. Now, let's be honest, online dating, it's very hit and miss. There's lots of scammers out there, lots of hackers, lots of people misrepresenting themselves. So that's why when I was contacted by an online dating agency about a potential collaboration, I was definitely skeptical. So I did a bit of research, I checked them out, and so far they seem legit. And what they are is, they're a company called Christian Filipina, and what they do is they help men to meet Asian women to build long-term serious relationships. So Christian Filipina, they're really big on security. And as I mentioned there a second ago, it's very hit and miss online with the online dating scene. Like, I've had friends go and meet someone in Bangkok and it clearly wasn't the same person that they were talking to. So there's lots of people misrepresenting themselves out there. So Christian Filipina, they have a digital team that are monitoring their website all the time, making sure everything is above board and people are who they say they are. And I'm also talking to them at the moment about doing maybe future interviews with people who were successful finding love online. So you've often gone on YouTube and you've seen all the stories about, you know, my wife scammed me and all these type of negative stories about the online dating scene. And yes, there has to be a certain amount of them that are true, or else there wouldn't be people making videos about them. But what you don't hear about is, you don't hear about people that have been successful online dating. And there are many, many stories as well. So I'm talking to Christian Filipina now. Perhaps in the future we could interview people who are successful finding love online. So if you're interested in what I said, click the link in the description for Christian Filipina. And also I've left a comment in the pinned comment section as well. And best of luck in finding your potential life partner. And now back to the video.
So when I went to Kaen, started working in Kaen, then I decided we moved the whole family down to Kaen. We started renting a place, started teaching down here. Again, bringing the pies down to Kaen. Started marketing them, talking with people, glad handing, shaking hands. Hey, want to try a pie? And that's how I knew I had a good product, because like I said at the beginning, I was basically giving it to the Australians, the British. Those are the pie connoisseurs. If they say I've got a good pie, I was like, okay, I think I've got a good pie. I remember there was one that I thought was really good. It tasted really good to me, but the English, it's too much, too spicy. So I had to tone down the spices for the customer. I thought it was brilliant. I was like, perfect for me. But then again, I kind of like it a little bit spicy.
So when you moved to Kaen, did you open up a shop in Kaen, or what were you doing there?
Not right away. I'm a little bit more conservative and reserved. We were doing it out of our house, and my wife was like, we need to open up a shop. I was like, we're not ready for it. I mean, the amount of money that we were making per month would not sustain a business, right? A shop, the rent and the electric. So, but she thought, we got to do it. And she got her way. And I'm so thankful that she got her way, because that was, again, another turning point. Because I get it now. At the time, I didn't see it. People were just a little bit shy to come knock on my door and buy a pie out of my living room. You know what I mean? But once I opened up a shop, the sales went triple. And I was like, yeah, no problem. We could easily do it.
So you mentioned in the email that you sent to me that you experienced jealousy from other Farangs. Can you tell us that story?
Oh, well, some of the negatives, for some reason, yeah, I guess that's the only thing I could say is jealousy. There was, people would come to my wife all the time and your husband's done this, your husband's done that. I've been with ladyboys. I've had threesomes. I've done this. I've done that. It's just some crazy, crazy situations. I mean, one guy was telling my wife and gave graphic detail of the things that I did with his girlfriend while he watched. And I'm like, tell me the details. That sounds kind of good. But one guy I've never met him before, never met him. He just seemed kind of odd. He contacted me about some pies. He wasn't from Khon. He's going to be staying in his hotel for a few days. Can you send the pies to my hotel room? Sure. Will you be delivering them? No, we have workers to do that. Oh, okay. But he always was trying to talk with me and contact me. And finally I just kind of blocked him. And then he contacted my wife through the pie company and was like, I have some information about your husband. You come meet me at my hotel and I'll tell you all about it. She's like, won't you just tell me over the phone? If you can't tell me now, I'm not interested. Okay. Yeah, it's always, yeah.
And you never met this guy before?
Never met him.
Sounds like a real whack job.
Yeah.
And why do you think these guys are making this up about you?
Like I said, I'm completely guessing, but it just seems like a bit of jealousy. I have a wife, 2 children. I don't get out and play the bar games and get out there and try and show who's got the better or what, or
Let's talk about your life in Khon. How do you like living in Khon?
Well, yeah, let me tell you about it. Khon is the Family Guy's city. All right. You get the odd tourist every now and then. But this is a place you go. It's got universities, it's got colleges, technical colleges, the whole 9 yards. This is an education family type of city. The touristy areas, it can't compete with these other cities.
I've been there a couple of times. I spent I think 2 Songkrans there a couple of years ago. I loved the city. Going from Bangkok to Khon, I was really impressed with Khon. I thought I could see myself living here someday. Good infrastructure. It's got everything that a city needs. It's got gyms, it's got malls, it's got bars, it's got restaurants, and it has that. A lot of expats living there long term, married to Thai women, and they've set up decent restaurants and bars and stuff like that. So it does cater for Westerners. And then obviously it's cheap. It's a lot cheaper than Bangkok. Food, cost of living, rent. I was impressed. How about your kids growing up in Thailand? As a Luk Krung, so mixed between like American and Thai. How have they enjoyed life in Thailand?
Well, they're loving it. I mean, they're bilingual because I only speak English with them, and I made them speak English back with me. And it paid dividends greatly. I mean, I know I'm a teacher, but I don't teach them in a classroom setting. I would just speak to them and make them speak to me in English. And excuse me, now they're quite, I mean, their reading and writing skills are not where I would hope for them to be, but they're fluent. It's listening and speaking. They're really, really good. And so they've had, the problem they get is, my oldest daughter, she's got the Falong nose, and everybody is jealous and wants to touch her nose. And she said, it's really irritating. I said, okay, I guess,
And how are they treated by regular Thai people? Do they get special treatment, or because they obviously they look different than most people. So do they get special treatment, or what's the reaction to, say, other Thai people?
It really depends on who they're with, if they're with mom or if they're with me, what they're dressed in. If they're dressed in their school uniform, it can make a difference. They'll just immediately assume they're Thai. If they're with mom or with the school uniform, they must be Thai. But if they're with me in regular street clothes, they'll just assume that they're Falong. And but they don't get treated differently. But I'll be honest with you, the youngest one likes to play about that. She likes to kind of go in and just start asking them things in English and just taking the piss out of them a little bit. And then right at the last moment, she'll come out and start going in Thai, going, thank you very much, blah, blah, blah. And the look on their face is just priceless.
That's brilliant.
And I go, you enjoyed that, didn't you? She goes, yeah, I did.
What do you think the success of your marriage has been? You've been married for 16 years, or is it 16?
16 years. Yes. Yes.
What's the success of it? That's a long lasting marriage there. What's been the success of that marriage?
Trust and communication, really communication. And we still have some communication issues, patience, have patience. Sometimes, I mean, I remember early on, her English was not good. And I'm very proud of her. She actually has gone on to get her master's degree in English since meeting. Since meeting, she had nothing. She went to a basic English school and then to the university, got her bachelor's degree, and then on to get the master's degree, all while running a business and raising kids. So I'm real proud of that. But communication, it was difficult at first, especially at first. You're probably going through it. Somebody really say something, you're like, what? Say it again, please. And they say it again, and then you say it again, please. And 3-4 times. And I'm really sorry. I'm not understanding what you're saying. Maybe you could write it and just have the patience, because sometimes she had to repeat herself like 4 times before I could understand what she was saying. But luckily those days are over. But yeah, and it's funny, like your wife has a touch of that Irish accent, and my wife, people think, oh, how long have you stayed in America? They think she has an American accent. I guess you can't help but pick it up.
Any advice for people out there watching this now that want to do what you've done? You've gone to Thailand, you've built up a business for yourself, you've had a long lasting marriage, you've got kids. Anyone out there that's watching this now that's thinking, oh, maybe I want to move over to Thailand, what advice do you have for them?
Well, first I would say, go do it. Each person has a different experience. Okay. And one, I got to say, I got lucky with an amazing, hardworking wife. You know what I mean? She's amazing. Early on, when I was still back in Afghanistan, I made really good money. I said, okay, I want you to buy land. I sent her some money, and she actually bought land. She didn't go out and blow it on the sick buffalo or anything. She actually bought land. And I was like, she could have taken me for every penny. I kind of walked into it, but because I got a good woman, I got lucky. The thing is, get communication, patience, and don't just jump right into something. You know what I mean? I've told people this, and I think it's a little bit of laziness. People go straight to the bar or the massage parlor because, they speak a little bit of English. I said, you really want to find a nice lady? Go to the hospital, spend 1,000 baht, get you a physical, right? I think us old guys need physicals every now and then. So go get a physical for 1,000, 1,500 baht. And, then say, any single English speaking nurses or start from the top, any English speaking doctors that are single. And I would be willing to bet there are quite a few single nurses that would be willing to date good guys out there. If you're a good guy, these girls just want love. They want to find love and someone that will take care of them and possibly to their family as well. As you know, the Thai culture, you kind of marry into the family.
I bet you're not a drinker. You don't come across to me as a drinker.
I would have to say no, but I will say I do indulge. If I have a nice meal, I'll have a glass of wine with it. In some evenings, I do enjoy a nice brandy when I'm sitting in the bed, getting ready to relax. I'll slowly sip a brandy. It gets me in a nice little fit. But to go sit at the bar and have a couple of beers I've literally been drunk 2 times in my life. Once was while I was in the Navy in Barcelona, Spain. Once was here in Thailand. I don't even know how it happened. My friends were making drinks for me, and I think it just snuck up on me. And one of the reasons why I'm not a drinker is because 2 days I was hungover, dry heaving. I know I'm not a good drinker. It was miserable.
Maybe that means your success as well. You've been able to put time into, working and stuff like that. You haven't been hungover, wasting a day.
That's you're probably absolutely right. I don't smoke. I have a hard time trying to find time just to exercise. I've always been an active person all my life, sports, some kind of activity. But now that I'm getting a bit older, I'm limited in the amount of sports. That's the one thing. Us older guys, when you get hurt, it literally takes longer.
How old are you? You don't look that old.
I'm almost 54. I'll be 54.
Man, you're looking good. You're looking good. No, seriously,
Thanks,
you look
brother.
healthy. You look healthy. You can tell that you've obviously done things the right way, you know. And what are your future plans? What do you have in store for the future?
We're going to invade Bangkok. Well, I really think we've got a good pie. I think we've got a good price. I think when you compare quality, size, and price, I think I can go up against any pie company out there. I've heard there are some that are a little bit cheaper, but they're smaller and the quality's not so good, because I do like to go out there and kind of test some of the different pies.
So are you trying to scale this? I mean, are you trying to enter the market in Bangkok then?
Yes. Honestly, and now we're breaking into the Thai market. At first, like I said, no Thai customers at all. But here in Kaen, they've actually got some money. The Thai people here have got some money, and they don't mind kind of, in a way, kind of flashing it a little bit. They don't mind going out to a new cafe and spending a little bit of extra money on something new. And this is kind of new too. Ooh, this foreign food. Look at me, I'm eating a Western pie. But it's not trivial, because I get repeat customers. I've had customers coming from Bangkok because they've heard me, which is why I'm thinking I need to open up in Bangkok. But before I can do that, I need to make sure I can handle the logistics of it and we can meet the demand.
You haven't told us the name. You never told us the name.
Okay, home pies. Home pies. Pretty simple. Taste of home with home pies.
I'll tell you what you do, right? I'll tell you what we do. You send me all the links and I'll put them in the description. So if anyone's out there is watching the video, all the links are in the description for your home pies.
I appreciate it.
So Ty, we'll leave it there, man. Look, I really enjoyed talking to you. You got a great story and I wish you all the best, man. You're doing it the right way over there. Appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you very
to
much.
Do this.
I think you're doing a great job as well. I really appreciate your time, and look forward to hopefully maybe one day meeting.
One day, man, we'll do it in Thailand. We'll meet when you've got your big old pie business, and I'll come up there and we'll do an interview in the factory. How about that?
Roger that. And I'll actually have a beer with you then. Okay.
Yeah. Actually, we'll have a bottle of Leo then. All right.
Roger that.
No worries. Listen, man. Take care of yourself. Nice talking to you.
And just before you go, folks, don't forget the link in the description box for Christian Filipina. See you on the next one. Take care of yourselves.